Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Lake Hot Rods. Today I'm going to do a little change of pace and work on my about 85–90% complete project that I've had for quite a while. Actually, I've had both my Falcons for more than 20 years. This one was actually saved from the scrapyard and like 98, 99, 2000, somewhere around in there. I actually got this thing for $300 and a load of parts that were inside it, collected from the other cars around the junkyard that was closing down. So we drug it home in intentions of parting it out, and it turned out to be in really good shape. So that didn't happen. So I proceeded to go ahead and do an engine swap in it and just basically restore it. I've had this car completely blown apart, everything off of it, every nut and bolt has been out of it, off of it, all the glass, interior, everything. I'll go over it a little bit real quick, and my intention is to do a full video on it later on, just showing what all has been done to it. But it's a V8 swap, it's a 302 old school style swap, 5-lug conversion, 9-inch, overdrive transmission, just good stuff to make it a pretty good driver. There's still a few little tweaks and things that I like to do to it. The interior is not completely done. I'd like to get the upholstery redone. The actual back seat is the original upholstery. It's held up for all these years. Just basic modernization of it. It's not really modern by today's standards, but one of the things I'd love to do to it, maybe once I get done with my 62, is go ahead and swap this over to fuel injection. Maybe use a Holly kit or a Phytech. I don't know. I've not read a lot of reviews about either one, so I don't know much about them. Just something to think about in the future. But what I'd like to do today is get back in focus and reel myself back in here and get focused back on the video. The grill on this car is an anodized aluminum piece, and I'd like to strip it and get it polished and cleaned up. So getting a little dull, and I did the taillights a few years back, and they've held up really nicely with no coating on them at all. This car's garage kept, so it doesn't stay out in the weather and get the sun beat on it and all that, but they've held up really well. They're still shiny like the chrome, and so I want to try my hand at the grill, which is kind of scary because it's expensive to replace. I do have an extra, but I don't plan on destroying it, which is a little nerve-wracking, but because of de-anodizing the aluminum, the product you use is pretty caustic, and it can destroy the part if you don't pay attention and keep an eye on it. I'm going to use Easy Off, which is pretty tried and true method of stripping the coating off the aluminum. And I've got some various tools to polish the aluminum and sand. I want to sand it and obviously, bring it back step by step. Aggressive grits to fine grits, and then we'll go through a polishing process and try to get it nice and polished out. There's a car show coming up Father's Day weekend, and I'd like to have this part of the project done before then. So I'll go ahead and get on it now because I don't have a lot of time coming up this week. So try to get it knocked out today and maybe tomorrow, and we'll see what we can get done. But for now, I got to get the grill off. So we'll go through that process pretty quick and simple. I've had it off quite a few times, just a few screws and a couple of bolts, nothing to it. So we'll get it stripped off. We'll get it on the table over here, and we'll check it out. Also, if you think this video was helpful, like and share and subscribe it. I sure would appreciate it. Help grow the channel, and we can get more videos out and get some more content. So I appreciate it. Stick around, and we'll see what we can get into. All right, so here's the grill on the car as it is. It's not terrible. The headlight doors are in pretty good shape. There's no dings for sure, so I don't have to worry about doing any body work or hammering and dialing. But like I said, the grill is just getting a little dull. And I like to bring it back and kind of mimic the chrome on the bumper there. I've replaced a lot of the bolts with stainless, which I kind of like, I kind of don't like. I'm kind of on the fence, I'm not sure. But there's a few little spots like this one's going to need to be sanded out, and I'll repaint all these grill marks here, which is a factory setup. There's a couple bad spots like this guy here. You can barely see it, but once we get on the table, we'll lay it out. We'll go over it again. So just wanted to show what it looks like on the car. It's weathered. It's never been restored, which is has a lot to say about the coating, which is pretty good. So I think, at least. But yeah, we'll get it stripped off. There's a few bolts, like I said, here and there and down in there, and should make quick work. So the grill is removed, and you get a little better view of it here. Like I said, it's in really good shape, save for a few little clips here. Actually, this clip's the only one that's busted, but I knew that was there before. I had a big washer on it just to help that. A few little spots like this bracket here and this here. It's got a little tweak to it, so I plan on hammering out that and flattening it out best I can. And there was a little spot here where the relief was for the hood latch, and I didn't see it was necessary. It doesn't get in the way, so I hammered that flat. But short of that, it's really just dirty and dingy. You can see where the bottom of the headlight bezel is a little discolored, just from the anodizing. It's not holding up. A little scratch here, so that can be gotten out with some sandpaper. It's not a ding, it's just a little scratch. Actually, a good scratch. But then I'll plan on going back through, like I said, and we'll repaint all these little spots here, which is the original way it was before. Some of these have been touched up, but I can see these. I never did those, so all that'll be stripped off once the anodizing is gone. So it'll have to be redone anyway. It's in really good shape. 63 grills are pretty expensive. Last I checked, they were over $1,000, on up to about 1,500, maybe two for a new old stock grill, which is crazy. But hey, it is what it is. They don't make them anymore. Anyway, let's get to stripping, and we'll see how this process goes. So I decided to go ahead and put this down on the ground. It's a little, I guess, easier to control the overspray, and just easier to get down and do it here. Plus, I decided to put it on some plastic, and it's a little bit bigger area than my wooden table there. So we'll get to spraying and give it about 10 minutes. While it's doing its thing, I'm going to do a little maintenance and change the oil in my truck. So give me a perfect amount of time, hopefully. But I'm going to set a 10-minute timer and just keep a check on it. And now, looks like everything on the web is gone about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depends on the part. This is pretty thin metal, so I don't want to go too far. So like I said, I'm going to check it every 10 minutes. Once I get a good coating on it, we'll let it sit. But yeah, that's going to be it. Also, this stuff's pretty nasty, so obviously I don't have any gloves. Can't find them. I think someone has used them all, and got a mask on. I don't want to breathe this stuff in. I certainly don't want to get it in my eyes because it burns. Believe me, I know. It's where there's more traffic in my neighborhood than anywhere else. All right, we'll get a good little coating on it here. And as I'm spraying, I'm just kind of checking over because now I'm at a different angle looking up from the bottom, just checking to make sure. Sometimes these things will break, the little grill separations. But like I said, this one looks to be in really good shape, so I don't need to do any repairs or welding. Get a nice coat on it. Make sure everything gets covered and it'll be stripped. Get over here. Top side real good. Man, it stinks. So I've got a good bit left in the can just in case I need to reapply. But we'll let that sit and do its magic. I'm going to set a 10-minute timer and we'll come back to it. So I've had a 10-minute timer go, and I let it go twice because I kind of glanced at it and nothing really was happening at 10 minutes. But I can already see down through here where it's kind of white. This is part of the anodizing lifting, from what I understand. You can see it happening a lot there too. So what I may do, you can see it bubbling. I got a brush. I'm going to wipe it off a little bit in a spot, probably here on the bottom. And if I see it starting to peel off real well, I'm going to take it out back and give it a good rinse and neutralize this stuff. And take it back in here and see what got stripped and what may have gotten missed. And if we have to, we'll reapply and give it another 20 minutes. All right, so it's been about 25-ish minutes. It's kind of a white chalkiness on it. The anodizing lifting off the aluminum. So I'm going to take it around back and rinse it off and get it neutralized, and we'll go from there. We'll see what we got. So we're back from a rinse, and you can see where the aluminum is discolored a lot, and it's eating into that coating. It's not completely stripped. Obviously, it's discolored quite a bit, but I think the idea is to break it down to where I can get through and sand it. I'm going to try that. It's pretty chalky on the grill here, and it looks like it ate through quite a bit of it. I may need to reapply and let it sit for a little longer. I just got a little worried that I was letting it go a little too long. It was over 25 minutes. So let me get some sandpaper on this. Start with some 220 and let's see what we come up with. I wonder if it looks to me like this needs to sit for a little bit longer. The darker spots is kind of still some of the anodizing. These are a little more, they seem to be a little, well, they're about the same. Anyway, I think what maybe I do is just kind of lightly go over it and scratch it. And maybe that will help break down this hard coating, because it seems to be pretty tough compared to what I've seen. I'll give them another light dusting and they'll give it another 15-20 minutes. This stuff's clogging up my paper immediately. So. Hey, thanks. That's working pretty good. It's eating through the one of these little sanding discs I've got, and it's getting through it. I'll keep trucking with this and see how that works. Much faster and better than doing it by hand. Yeah, I may go back and, like I said, give us another coating, a spray of Easy Off. You can see here, this looks like the anodizing, and this is the bare aluminum. For sure, it's like a dull gray. It's pretty tough to get off by hand and sand it. So I'll go back through and spray it one more time. Do have a little bitty ding right here. I may try to get behind that and hammer that back out, but overall, this thing's in really good shape for it being the age it is. But I'm gonna go ahead and scuff the rest of them with this pad, and this is a light grit, so it's not coarse. These scuff marks are superficial. They're not. I can't even catch them with my nails, so they're not digging in the aluminum at all. So we'll go through and get the others done and spray them all again, and let's see what happens. I discovered a little stamping under here. If you can see it, it just says VA. I don't know what that means. Maybe the plant it was stamped in. Never really done any research and know where each individual component comes from. It's kind of neat though. When you discover stuff like that, I like try not to destroy it, but it's stamped in there, so it's not really going to go anywhere. Some rambling of mine. I don't know if the other one is stamped also VA. What is VA? State Virginia. So I'm pretty happy with the initial cut with the scuff pad. I've gotten through probably most if not all of the anodizing. Some of this is the black paint that kind of spread around. I was surprised the Easy Off didn't eat that paint off like it did. Should have, maybe should have. I don't know if it should have, but I was just surprised it's still there. Anyway, like I said, it's in pretty good shape. You can see the light scuffing there. I may back down and go with a little bit of a stronger pad and redo the whole, restrip it, and just kind of work my way back up from there. And no damage that I've seen so far. All these grill bars are straight. Sometimes I have a tendency to break here and there just from leaning against the car over the years. But like I said, it's in pretty good shape. The only bad spot is right there on that little tab. I did end up respraying the headlight buckets, and not a whole lot of change. I'm going to go back over it with the green scuff pad again, and maybe see if I can eat away with like I did on the grill there. But they're not damaged in any way as far as, you know, too long of an exposure on the Easy Off. Still got a little bit left in the can, so if they don't, if I can't get them cut down a little bit better than that, I'll respray them at least and go from there. But yeah, I'll keep on at it, and we'll see what the progress is. All right, so we're making some progress on the aluminum stripping and grill restoration. I've used my Scotch-Brite pad, and then I went to 100 grit on my little palm sander here and got this down to where I'm pretty happy where I can start back up with it. There's no major dings, again, no major damage, no damage at all really. Any little imperfection, a little pock mark here and there is sanded out. So I'm really happy with that. Just as one little bitty old ding right there will not come out with sanding. And you can turn it over and you can actually see right in there where it's a little bit of a ding. So I'm going to just take it over to the vise and just tap on it a little bit. You don't want to tap too much because this stuff is super thin. I've got a little chisel, and I'm just going to run the back side of it and tap it down towards a piece of flat steel I've got here. And hopefully that'll do the trick. I tapped on the headlight rim there with some love. I still see a little bit now that I painted it with my backyard die-chem. It's a Sharpie. So I'm going to go back to the bench and tap on it before I sand it again and try to get that out. All right, I'm going to run over with the sander again and try to knock this down and see what is left of my mark. And that'll give me an indication what's in the low spot, and see what we did. Cool. A couple little passes with 100, and that little ding is gone. So that is the one and only ding. It's just a dark spot. It's not a ding, but that's the only ding I found. That tiny little pock mark, maybe the size of a BB. But maybe that little piece there. Alrighty. Yeah, I can see that on the back side too. Little pock mark there. That's coming through. So I'll go back to the bench and I'll tap that one. Put a little more marker on it. You can still see it a little bit, but it's coming at me. So I'm going to sand it down and let's try to get rid of it. And that is where that ding was. So again, a little bit of hammer work on the back side, a little Sharpie marker, sanding it, and those dings will come right out. As long as there's nothing broken, I think I'm in good shape. There's a couple that are just a hair out of shape, and I could really bend them with my finger. I don't want to bang on it too much because you can cause more damage than it's worth. You can get out of hand pretty quick. So I may go through and like little where it's stamped here, that little piece there is on the back side where it kind of flares out and the metal's kind of sharp. I may just go through and hit that with a file, but that's nothing really other than my insanity. Won't leave good enough alone. But I'm happy with the 100 grit. I'll step it up to I think I've got some 220, and I'll go to 3 something and 400 and 600 and bring on up probably 800, maybe 1,000. So there's a lot of handwork in this to bring this up to where it can be worked on and start to be polished. So, but you want to take your time at this step, because polishing is kind of like painting. You get all the reward when you're done with all the hard work. Painter gets all the reward, not the body guy. But it's all work. So that's what you got to do. Put in the labor, and you'll get rewarded with it. But we'll keep at it, and I'll keep updating you as we go. So this is the result of I've gotten up to 400 grit, and it's really smoothing out nicely. I'm really happy with it. My problem is I'm jumping paper sizes, the grit size. I think I'm jumping too far. I've got 400. The next step I've got is 800, and I'm kind of worried that might be a little bit too much of a gap to jump. I'd really like to have 400 and then 600 and then 800, but I think I'm gonna have to do what I have. I'm going to use what I have. I just don't have time to go get 600. I'm gonna find out what the results will be when I go to polish it. If I got some scratches in it, I guess I'll have to back up. But I'm gonna take it up to, I think I have 1,500. I don't think I need to go any higher than that. But I'm pretty happy with these headlight rings. I haven't even started on the grill. This has taken about an hour per step just to get it nice and thorough. So continuing on, I'm moving on to 800, and then we'll go probably to 1,000 and 1,500, and we'll see what the results are. And I'll get to polishing here maybe soon, hopefully, or a little test spot at least. But we'll keep posted. Did a little wet sanding on this last piece. The light might be too bright. Yeah, not too bad. Sorry. So I did 2,500 wet sanding on this, and you can see the shine already in it. I did go through with my hand buffer and just touch a few spots just to see what it would do to brighten up, and went through my stash of junk, and I found this old bar of polish compound. I have no idea where I got it from. It may even be Harbor Freight old stuff. I mean, this is 4, 5, 6 years old, and this old beat up looking polishing wheel. It seems to be working. This is the result of a lot of polishing with that wheel. You can see my reflection pretty darn good. There's a few little imperfections like that, but shoot, this is fantastic from a driver. It's not a show car at all. I do show it, but I mean, it's not a show car like the level you're thinking. There's a little bit of a bad spot there. I'm gonna try to polish that out by hand a little bit with some cleaner, and I'm gonna send it, man. Let's get these two headlight buckets done, and then I'll start working on the grill. And but like I said, I did 2,500 wet sand, and it seemed to be a lot better with the wet sandpaper. Obviously, it helps clean it, and gets rid of all the contaminants as you go. So shoot, like I said, I'm pretty happy with that. So we're going to keep on going with this. I'll put some more on here and polish it by hand. I got to be real careful. I'll put some tape around the chuck, because if you get going and you catch a corner and it jerks the drill out of your hand, and it got a few spots where I had to go back and start back over down to about 400 and go back up to 800, or 400, 600, 800, 1,500, and like I said, 2,500. So I'm going to keep on at it and finish this guy up tonight. All right, everybody, quick update on the grill polishing. It's going along really nicely, but I've gone through and sanded with 220, and I've gone all the way up to 1,500, and pretty happy with the results. Gotten a nice satin finish, and a few little scrapes and scratches that I had to get a little bit more aggressive with by hand. Obviously, I'm doing this all by hand, but I did polish a little bit with, or sand a little bit with a palm sander. Some of these are a little flat, so I could actually utilize that, but these grill bars are curved, So I had to get in here by hand and do this whole thing. About 4 or 5 rounds of sanding to get it to where it is. And like I said, I'm happy with the results of sanding. I got this polishing wheel from Harbor Freight today to kind of give my other one a break. It's pretty beat up and just old. It's starting to deteriorate quick. And I looked at their polish and realized that the white polish that I have is made for aluminum. We'll get some polish on this and get started on this grill, and we'll see what we can come up with. Like I said, the headlight rings are already done, and I'm really happy with them. So hopefully I can get this to match them, get the car back assembled, and we'll show you the finished product. After just a few minutes, literally, of polishing with that new wheel, you can tell the difference immediately, and I'm really happy with that. That's the sanded version, and this is the polished version. And I'll go over a little more, and dig in a little bit, get a little more aggressive with it. I just don't want to bend these bars, because if it catches with those bars, it's going to destroy this grill. But oh man, I'm really happy with the results of that. Makes all that sanding worthwhile. But this is good. I like it. So we'll get in here and get a little more going. When I get done, I said it before, I'll go through here and paint some of this accent is painted black throughout the grill. It kind of gives the illusion of just a straight grill bar, and we'll get it done. Dark on me. I've been at it for a while. I've got this grill really where I want it, and I'm using some just some general polish compound and sealant on my buffer here, and I'm just going to lightly go over, and I think it's going to kind of help get all the little micro scratches out. It's still got a little bit. As far as like, it's not 100% perfect, is what I'm trying to say, but I'm 100% happy with it. It's been a ton of work, and the results are pretty spectacular, from, if I don't say so myself. But I'm going to give it a once over and polish it, and hopefully this will help seal it up and keep it from tarnishing. I did my taillights a few years back and haven't sealed them at all, and they're still perfectly fine. So I don't have any reason to believe this would do the same thing, and it stays in the garage. I know I've said that before, but anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm just going to go over it a few times with this, and just to document the process and show you guys how I did it. Oh yeah, that looks great. I'm pretty happy with that. And like I said, the results speak for themselves. You got a nice, beautiful shine all the way down the grill, and boy, that's gonna look good in the sunshine. Make sure I got the top too. It's a little bit boogered up here around where the bolt holes used to go, or do. Those are still used, but just galled up the aluminum a little bit. So I'm just gonna put a bigger washer there and help cover that up, and it'll disappear. Tomorrow I will come back through and I'll paint all these little details, and this grill will be finished. So other than that, scratcher just put it in that damn light. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna get it off the table and get it put up for the evening, and we'll come back tomorrow and hopefully I'll be able to get it wrapped up. So we're moving right along here with the grill. What I did, I finished polishing all the grill. I came back with a little Dremel tool and scratched up these center bars here so that they'll let's let the paints kind of stick to it a little better. And I went through my stash of paint and got some Canyon Black, which is just semi-gloss black. Rattle can Rust-Oleum, I think it is. Yeah, Rust-Oleum. Cut the lid off. It was just a small amount in there, so I went ahead and depressurized it and chopped the lid off. But whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna throw it away when I'm done with it. And went through and painted the edges here. This is gonna be hidden by the headlight trim, so it'll kind of blend that in. Most of that's covered, but pretty sure it was painted black. I saw some remnants there of the factory black. Went ahead and painted this grill marker center piece. I still got that guy to go, but I just wanted to see what it looked like before I continued on and shared. I wasn't sure if this paint was going to be the shade I was looking for, but I think it'll do fine. And just got several more to do. So get the camera set up and I'll do a little filming to that. It's pretty boring, but all by hand. I didn't feel like taping all this off. I felt like that would be way worse than painting all this by hand. So, yeah, let's keep going on it. I like it. So I am really pleased with that. And it took about 40 minutes to do all that. It looked like I thought it was about 30, but you know, whatever. Yeah, let them sit it out in the sun and let it dry, and be able to put it in. Hopefully I'll be able to put it in today, and I'll get a final and be done with this project. All right, so I didn't want to bore you with reinstalling the grill because it's just a few bolts and 2 screws on either end, but I've got it in place and went ahead and added the wider washer up top here to cover up the gauge mark on the aluminum. This turned out really nice. This is the part where I hammered it a little flat, and it didn't quite get as flat as I'd like it to get, but you know what? I'm okay with that. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for me. And the shine on it is really, really nice. I really like it. It's more matches the chrome bumper. You can see a reflection there. It's kind of shaded in the garage here, but once I get the car out, I'm going to detail it up and clean it up, and I'm super happy with it. It turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to turn out. Now, I'm not sure if these corners are supposed to be painted black. They kind of recess, and they might, to kind of give this illusion that this ring is floating. Also in here, doing a little research on a couple of the Falcon pages that I'm a part of, and see if anybody's got any tips or advice for that. But I'm just going to wait and see what they say. I'll quit rambling and I end the video here. I appreciate you guys watching. If this helped, maybe like the video, leave a comment, subscribe. But I really appreciate you guys tagging along, and thanks for watching Big Leg Hot Rods. We'll see you next time.